Hello, my BBPs, my beautiful, blessed people. It is your girl, your life strategist, Samira Acheampong with Synergy Lifestyle Strategies. And I'm here to share some information with you because I just love sharing information. But before we get this info session started, go ahead and click on your self-awareness button right here. It's located to the right of your heart. This is just symbolic that we are inviting your higher power, my higher power, into this info sharing session for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Is that okay? So let's get started. Have you ever just felt disqualified, like you didn't matter? Maybe you experienced this growing up where you were not the chosen child. Maybe you were a girl, maybe you were a boy, maybe your dad always wanted a son and your mom always wanted a son, or maybe, they always wanted a daughter, whatever the situation may be, but it just made you feel growing up that you were not significant and you didn't matter. Well, guess what? I too have felt that. And I just want to share with you a story. So growing up in my household, it always felt like my dad favored my brother. And I think it was because he was a boy. And he always told my brother that you need to be a leader. You need to never follow anyone. You need to think for yourself. And I can remember when I was 8 years old and we were living in an apartment in LA. This was, a little bit of maybe 3 months ago, I should say. No, I'm just joking, but this was a little bit ago. And I can remember exactly where I was standing. And my sister, brother, and myself, I'm the youngest, we were in the hallway and we were lined up. And my brother was getting in trouble for something. And my dad would say, you need to be a leader and not a follower. And you don't need to follow anybody else. You need to be the one that's leading. And all of the words that my dad was saying to my brother, I felt them bouncing off of my brother and onto me. I felt like my father should have been talking to me about leadership and about not following people and just really encouraging me because of the leadership anointing that I felt was called on my life, right? And so all of these charges and declarations that were being made to my brother about leadership, I was the one who felt them. I was the one, my spirit jumped and it leaped as he was speaking, but he could not recognize that the call of leadership, the anointing was on me, and I just remember the Lord calling me back to that memory, back to that moment. And it was such a beautiful experience because the Lord let me know that at a very early age, he called me to leadership. Hence why I have gravitated towards leadership. Pretty much every organization that I've been a part of, I was in the leadership space, if you will. And it was just a calling that could never escape me. So if you've ever felt like that, that reminds me of the story of David. And I don't know if you all are familiar with that story where Samuel was looking for the next king, right? And the next king was one of Jesse's sons. Jesse had more than one son. He had more than 3 sons. I can't be exact about how many sons he had, but he had about 3 or 4 sons. And when Samuel went to Jesse looking for the next king, all of the sons thought it was them, especially the eldest. And that son, the eldest son, just knew because of his stature, his appearance, that God was going to choose him. But after Samuel went through all of the sons, he pretty much said, no, it's not any one of these sons. And he asked Jesse, do you have another son? And I'm going to read to you from 1 Samuel 16, 10 through 11. Jesse had 7 of his sons. Okay, there were 7 sons passed before Samuel, but Samuel said to him, the Lord has not chosen any of these. So there was no one chosen from the 7. So he asked Jesse, are all of these your sons? Are these all the sons you have? And Jesse replied, there is still the youngest. he is tending the sheep. And that son that was tending the sheep was David. And David must have been a little scrawny thing. He was probably very skinny, very small, not anyone that can be resembled as a king at that time. And that's exactly how I felt when my father was talking to my brother. I felt dismissed. I felt disqualified because I was not the oldest and I was not a boy. Okay. But I just want to encourage you today that if you've ever felt like that, we don't have to worry about human beings qualifying us because God has qualified us and God has qualified you. So if that was your experience, I'm here to share with you, guess what? You don't have to subscribe to that. And I want to share with you in these other scriptures what God tells us. In 2 Corinthians 3:5-6, it is he, meaning God, who has qualified us, making us to be fit and worthy and sufficient as ministers. That means that God has qualified us. That means that we don't have to look for qualification in a human being, in man. If God has qualified you, then who can disqualify you? Nobody. And then if we go to Colossians 1:12, giving thanks to the Father who has qualified you, me, to share in the inheritance of the saints in the kingdom of light. So God has already qualified us. I hope this encourages you today that if you feel the call on your life to do something, don't deny it. Don't ignore it. Don't disqualify yourself and say, oh, there's too many people doing it. There's too many people doing what I want to do. Guess what? But there's only one of you. There's only one of you. Your DNA, your purpose has a very unique DNA. So don't let anyone stop you, disqualify you for what God has already qualified you to be. That's all I got for now. I hope this has encouraged you, and I hope to see you on the next one. And check out Synergy Lifestyle Strategies, positive clothing wear. Talk to you soon.